the archive of people who never lived. There's a place hidden beneath a forgotten library, a vault that shouldn't exist, filled with files of people who were never born. This is not science fiction. This is not a dream. This is the beginning of a story you were never supposed to hear. Welcome to the archive of people who never lived. Episode 3. Pages that Bleed. I used to think fear was a moment, sharp, sudden, like a jolt of electricity. But fear can be slow. It can spread like ink in water, and once it's in you, it touches everything. Since Clara's message, they found us. I haven't left my apartment. I've watched the world shift from my windows, like a man watching a movie he can't pause. People I don't recognize wave at neighbors who no longer live there. Street names change overnight. The trees in the courtyard bloom, then rot, then bloom again within days. Time has started slipping. It's subtle, but unmistakable. I'll put coffee on, turn around, and the pot's already cold. My messages send before I type them. My voicemail plays things I haven't recorded yet. And the worst of it? The file, my file. It won't leave me alone. I found it again last night, not in the vault, on my kitchen table. No folder this time, just loose sheets, spread out like someone had been reading them and got interrupted. I gathered them up and tried to ignore the tremor in my hands. Every page was different than I remembered. New entries, new photos. One showed me arguing with Clara in a hotel room I've never been in. Another showed me walking out of a fire station with someone else's child in my arms. Each moment came with dates, times, coordinates, most of them in the future. I ran one of the images through metadata tools. It had been embedded with a timestamp, May the 18th, 2025, 2:41 a.m. That was 6 hours from when I checked. I set an alarm. I waited. And at 2:41 a.m., my power cut out. I stood in darkness, heart pounding, flashlight in hand. I expected silence. Instead, I heard a low mechanical hum, and then something new. Shuffling paper. I followed it. The sound came from my bedroom. I pushed the door open slowly. The walls were covered in pages, not taped, not pinned, grown, like veins or vines. Paper had pushed through the plaster, unfolding from within the walls. My file, or at least part of it, pages pulsing softly like breathing parchment. And in the middle of the room, Clara. She was standing still, eyes wide, as if frozen mid-thought. "Clara," I whispered. She turned slowly, as if waking from a trance. "They're not just files," she said. "They're anchors." I asked what that meant. She walked to the wall and pulled a page free. It bled, not ink. Something dark and iridescent, thicker than any fluid I've ever seen. It ran down her hand. She didn't flinch. "Every person the archive writes," she said, "becomes more real. The more pages, the more stable they are, the more influence they have. The archive writes to overwrite." "Is that what happened to me?" I asked. Am I not real?" She didn't answer. Instead, she walked to me, lifted my hand, and pressed it to a page still attached to the wall. I felt something. Not paper, not really. It was memory, mine, but one I don't remember living. I was a child, 8 years old. I stood at the edge of a lake, holding a frog in cupped hands. My mother laughed behind me. The sky turned dark. Lightning flashed, and I dropped the frog. I blinked. "I've never been to a lake," I said. "You were," Clara whispered, "before you were rethreaded." I didn't understand. I still don't. She sat on the floor, legs crossed, and unfolded a page like it was sacred scripture. "The archive is self-aware," she told me, "or something inside it is. It doesn't just record possibilities, it chooses them, encourages some, deletes others." "Deletes?" She nodded. "I had a sister once. Her name was Nina. We were both unborn. I found our files together. Hers started disappearing, lines vanishing, photos fading. Then I woke up one morning and she was gone. Not missing, not dead. Gone. No one remembered her but me." I sat beside her, unable to speak. "They're testing something," she said. "You're the only person I've found who's had their file changed this often, this fast." "Why me?" She handed me a page, one I hadn't seen before. It had a single sentence. Subject: Elliot Gray. Class: Aperture. "What does that mean?" "It means you're not just being observed," she said. "You're a door, a breach point. They're using you to funnel others in." That's when the light came back on. But it wasn't from the power returning. It came from my hallway, white, sterile, humming like fluorescent tubes, a passage that hadn't been there before, leading out from my apartment into somewhere else, somewhere wrong. We stood. Clara grabbed my arm. "They're inviting you," she said. "But if you walk through, you'll be rewritten again. You'll stop being you." I hesitated. My mind felt like it was splitting into versions, one that wanted to run, one that already stepped forward. And then I saw it. At the end of the hall, just beyond the light. A figure. It looked like me, but taller, skin pale like wax, its mouth opened wide, and from it pages spilled out, slowly drifting to the floor. Clara pulled me back into the room. The hallway disappeared. We both sat there for what felt like hours, breathing in sync. She finally spoke. "The archive isn't just watching, it's writing futures, writing replacements. We're not reading the story, we're inside it." I looked at the wall again, and one last page began to form. It was blank, except for a heading. Chapter 4. The Unborn Listen.